Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Hoya Locker Room, episode 89. And as I usually normally say, this is a special episode. We are very grateful, very thankful to have today our new head coach, Ed Cooley. Coach, we want to welcome you.
Thank you.
We did a show a couple episodes back where we did a informal welcome Coach Cooley. We had Jerome Williams on and a few other guys. Dwayne Bryant, Mark Herrera. So yeah, this is the official jump off. And before we get started, I want to let my co-host say a few words, and then we're gonna jump right into it, Coach.
Okay, sounds great.
Well, I just want to say thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure meeting you in San Francisco a couple of weeks ago. Before we jump in with you, I just have a couple of questions for Gene. Number one, Gene, what is our IG handle?
Pardon me?
What is our IG handle?
Our IG handle is Hoya Locker Room.
Is it the same on Twitter?
On Twitter, it's at Room Hoya.
Are we on Facebook?
And Facebook is Hoya Locker Room.
Beautiful, thank you.
Coach, the reason why he did that is that I'm not very good at promoting Hoya Locker Room because that's not why it was established. It was established to continue to rebuild and build our brand, and that's kind of the theme for this show. Other than welcoming you, Markham, is that all you have to say, or you got anything else to say?
That's all I have to say. We're gonna jump right in.
So we're gonna jump right in, Coach.
Coach, what we always ask our guests is how you ended up at Georgetown. So give us your journey to Georgetown.
Wow, it's first of all, I want to thank the both of you for giving me the opportunity to say hello to all of Hoya Nation, and excited to be here during this busy time. It's been 6.5, almost 7 weeks, or right at that, and a lot brought me to the Hilltop. Obviously, Coach Thompson, Big John, being an inspiration for many of us young Black males in the late 70s, early 80s, to give us, at least a vision of where our jobs could take us. And, I always thought I would either play at Providence College or Georgetown. Georgetown, when we were younger, was that a young man of color could look at and say, I can do that too. I just wasn't good enough, tall enough, fast enough, could shoot it well enough. I couldn't do it a lot. But as time went on,
you're describing me.
Yeah. As time went on, to get there, it was the right place at the right time. My daughter graduating in a couple of weeks, which I can't tell you how proud I am of. Me knowing I needed change. I thought change was in the air at the right time. I left a place that was almost impossible to leave emotionally, mentally. The people there were amazing. The players that I coached there helped me get to this point where I'm at in my career. Yet it was a school that I thought I can fit at. I have 27 of my 30, now going into my 30 years in coaching, was that at a small Catholic institution. Georgetown being, in my opinion, elite along with the other schools. Yet I would be selling myself short if I didn't tell you how hard it was to leave home of Providence College, born and raised there, to be their first ever Black men's basketball coach meant a lot to me as well. So, the relationship that I have with Lee was a big reason to come. But the biggest one was I love the Big East, and I thought change was in the air, and I thought it was the right time to do that. A lot of disgruntled fans, season ticket holders, and supporters back at Providence, which I understand. I get it. I get that. And I have empathy and compassion for that. I just hope at the end of the day, the empathy and compassion goes both ways, because, change is good for everyone. And they hired another dynamic young coach in Kim English, who's going to do a great job. And, the players that are still there that we were fortunate to recruit, build relationships with, I think of those young men all the time. I mean, all the time I think of those kids. So it was hard for them as well.
I wish Kim English well. except for 2 games a year, and possibly 3.
Amen. You know what? Maybe 4. A national championship.
National championship.
Final.
There we go.
You know, I'm going to cheer for him. I'm going to cheer for Providence College every single day. Not just the basketball organization, but the entire community. Again, I was born and raised a 9-iron from that office now. My family is still there. Many of my family members, brothers, sisters, cousins, high school coaches, AAU coaches, Boys and Girls Club, community centers, churches, guidance counselors, principals. I mean, that was home, and it is a small, small state. And Providence men's basketball is the NBA team there. To me, it is the center of their entertainment during those basketball months. So I love those people back there. And I say that with all sincerity. At the same time, I knew I needed change, and it's okay. I get where they're at, but I know it's okay because I'm where I'm supposed to be. And I'm firmly here in Hoya Nation.
So Coach, just to let you know, you are amongst family now. So with that being said, you know, ribbing and jokes are always on the table.
Oh,
so we're gonna go back and we're gonna digress and go back into your playing career.
I wasn't very good.
At Stonehill Skyhawks.
Yeah, the Skyhawks.
So Fam says he wasn't very good. 1989 to 1994. Inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2019. 3-year captain, 170 career games, 795 points, 594 rebounds, 100 assists. 4 years, all teams went to the tourney. I think that speaks for itself. I do want to ask, you say you weren't very good, but you chose the number 23. We all know what the number 23 means. Speak to that, please. And speak to your playing career if you can, and how that helped shape you.
You know, in Providence, I mean, we're really fortunate to play on a great high school team. We won back-to-back state championships. You know, I still recall when Georgetown practiced at Central High School, and I met Coach Thompson there. I'm like, I thought I was that dude. I'm like, I'm getting ready to play for the Hoyas. I don't know if I could have turned the lights on then, you know. But it was a small Catholic school. It was a place where I thought I can play a lot. My second year, I had my first back surgery. You know, my first of it. There have been 3 back surgeries, and that's when I knew, I better kind of pivot and think about something else. I can't jump over the book. I can't go by anybody. But I knew I was tough. There was no tougher player on the court than me. Not one. Not one. I've never played against anybody tougher than me. I don't care who it was. Even if they were, I would never let them think it because I get 4 fouls, not 5. And I'm going to knock the shit out you. I can tell you that. And it's not personal. I'll shake your hand and we'll go for a walk later. I always was
like Gene Smith.
Absolutely. I always was a great teammate. And I think being a great teammate, I feel I was a born leader. And again, had a great time in college. My wonderful friends. Actually, this weekend is the weekend we all normally get together down in Florida. I'm not there, so I want to shout out to my boys down there that are hanging, that are all going to get season tickets when they watch this. I need all y'all to buy 300 season tickets amongst y'all so we can give them to our community members here to let other young men and women who can't afford some of these tickets come to a game. I want to make sure that people know I just was an okay player, but I was all about winning. And it's always about the team. It's never about you. It's always about the team. Team first mentality.
So I'm gonna Markham. You gonna stay making the Gatorade for 1 second. That's a running joke, Coach. Because every time Markham gets into, we bring everybody back, Coach. So let
me just tell you, my Gatorade
was it sweet?
Much better than his ability to make a layup. Much better.
So, but no, Coach, he's known to say he made championship Gatorade.
There you go, baby.
Okay, fam. All I know is I think you only got as far as the Elite 8, and that's no slouch. But there's one chip, and I was on that crew. But the way you described your career was much like my career. The way you described yourself as a player was much like myself. And the fact that you were going to be the toughest on the court, that's always been our mantra as Hoyas.
No question.
We've never been well liked nationally. but that's always been motivation. So I think you are definitely at your second home, and
Absolutely.
we welcome you. With that being said, I just want to run down your coaching career. You started at UMass Dartmouth, then Stonehill, went back to your alma mater, then Rhode Island, then Boston College, and then Fairfield, and then obviously you landed at Providence, took them to the promised land, or as close to the promised land as possible. 2019 gold medal at the Pan Am Games, and then the awards, the Naismith in 2022, the Joby before that, the Ben Joby Awards. If you can just speak to your journey in terms of coaching and how it's brought you here, and just along the way, what when you had to pivot, when you had to move. Obviously, this last move was incredible to make, but if you can just give us a snapshot of that journey, that coaching journey.
We had, I think Nerissa and I had 5 jobs in 5 years, I think it was, or 4 jobs in 5 years. When I left, I was a history teacher at Bridgewater Raynham Regional High School for 2 years, 94, 95, and 95, 96. UMass Dartmouth, I think we lost in the Final Four. Then we recruited a team to Stonehill that ended up going to the Elite 8. And then I took a restricted earnings job. We were getting married, having a baby, Isaiah Cooley, who's our son. And I told my wife, we're going to take a pay cut. It's going to be a gamble, but I want to get into Division I basketball. And that was to go work for Al Skinner, another major mentor of mine. And the reason why I'm a head coach is because of Coach Skinner. We took a pay cut to make an incredible $12,000 a year, which I was excited about. I thought I was killing it, And then, my wife, who's a retired police officer in the city of Providence, she says, I got your back, but it's 2 years. We can't raise a family on $12,000 to $16,000 along with my salary, her salary at that point in time. And then Coach Skinner came in and offered us an opportunity to go to Boston College. And at Boston College, we established an incredible program. I remember competing against Georgetown, and in that, recruited several players that ended up choosing Georgetown over Boston College. I was there for 9 years. We left in 2006. I thought we had a national championship team. I really did. We lost to Villanova in overtime in Minnesota. I think, and Georgetown was actually playing, I believe, Florida. I think it was Florida. They were playing to go to the Elite 8 at the Metrodome, or whatever it was called, in Minneapolis at that point in time. Then I had an opportunity to have some success there with the help of Coach Skinner and all those great players we had at Boston College, to become the first ever Black coach in the history at Fairfield University. Was there for 5 years, and everybody said, don't take that job. They fired. A lot of
firsts, Coach. You got a lot of firsts, baby.
It's amazing. I pinch myself because I've been so blessed, and so many people and so many, a community raised me. And that's why it was so hard to leave when I did leave, because that community helped bring me up, the entire community. And we did a great job at Fairfield. We left. We didn't get my only takeaway is I didn't get them to the NCAA tournament. We lost in the semifinals at home, my last year there, and then went on to the NIT. And then from there, we went to Providence College. And that was really emotional for me. Again, being the first Black coach in the history of their program, and to do the things we did over a 12-year period. Of the 12 years there, I think we went to 10 postseason appearances, 8. I'm going to say 8 because COVID, we definitely was a tournament team. 8 of the last 10 years playing in the NCAA tournament. We didn't have the success that I wanted in the tournament. We really didn't. And that's something that I hope to have. And as we reestablish Camelot here at the Hilltop, I want to make sure that we try to have much more tournament success. And lo and behold, after a 12-year run there with, Bob Driscoll, Steve Napolillo, Ken Sicard, and Brian Shanley, and the rest of everybody that was there, Georgetown's opportunity opened up. But I've always had a great relationship with the Georgetown family. Coach Thompson, JT3, Patrick Ewan, it's just amazing how small of a basketball community this is. And growing up, how can you not always see Reggie Williams making a shot, Sleepy Floyd just giving everybody the business, Michael Graham knocking people out with me. I need Mike. Hey, Mike, I need some offspring. You know,
oh, I don't know if you see the trending hashtag. We got kids. We got kids, Coach.
All right, but the thing is, though, you know what? I love the family member, but you got to hoop.
It's all about the hoop. It's all about production.
I have 2 words for you. Just remember these 2 words. Trust me when I tell you. Christian Brown. We can talk about that later.
Okay,
Christian Brown.
We're gonna circle back to that one. We're gonna circle back. You know, the thing is, though, just I remember recruiting Braswell, LJ Peak, you know, Freeman. I mean, I can just go on and on and on because again, I've been in the Big East now for going on my 23rd year in the Big East. So, I mean, I've known about Georgetown forever and the great programs and the great teams competing against them. And I'm very, very fortunate and very appreciative of this opportunity to try to reestablish this brand to become, you know, a great dominant program once again.
Great. So you mentioned missing your boys this weekend. I heard you say you need 300 season tickets. I haven't been to New York in a while, but there's a club up there called Jay-Z's 4040 Club. And in San Francisco, I heard you talking about the 4100 Club. Can you tell us a little bit about what your vision is for that?
Well, the 4100 Club is my goal over a period of time as I get to know each and every student that I can at the Hilltop. I would love to see 4,100 or more students at each and every home game. We need to make Capital One Arena almost a nightmare when people walk in there, where they're shivering before they come in that back, you know, that back door, like, damn, we got to play them cats. Will it take some time? Absolutely. But I am going to ask, I am going to encourage, I am going to plead with our students, because when you got that young, vibrant energy in a building, and again, we learn some things together. What's our it at Capital One Arena? Not just showing up. We need to be edgy. We need to be loud. We need to be proud. We need towels waving. We need noise makers. We need hotspot music. 4,100 students is the goal. And over a period of time, we're going to get there. You know what I mean? And again, I know it's a challenge to get down there. If our student body knows and our community knows how important a home court advantage is, it is vital in our league. Because when you go to the Cintas Center, sold out. Amica Mutual Pavilion, sold out. Creighton, sold out. Butler, sold out. Villanova, sold out. You know what I mean? We need to have a home court advantage that when you get off of, you know, when you come down 6th Ave, I think it is, you know, you're down 11 before you get off the bus. That's what we need our students here. So 4,100 Club, we're going to talk about this more as we get into our marketing campaign with season tickets. And then the other 16,000, it's got to come from our community. It's got to come from our former players. I want all of our former players to come to the game and let them know how much we miss them, how much we appreciate them. I want to have a kids club. I want to have a kids club that meet and greet our players as they come out of the tunnel. I want 100 to 150 kid club members, of which during the national anthem, they will surround the court. I want to give our young men and women a vision to what they can be as well. And I want to make sure that our community gets behind them and the community gets behind our basketball program, right? There's a lot of angst of what was, and everybody's looking in that rearview mirror. That rearview mirror is just a small piece of the car. The windshield is big. And that's what I want us to look forward to. Let's look forward to greatness. Let's respect tradition. Let's understand legacy. But it is a new time with college sport. It's a new time in college athletics. And it is my goal and my hope for all of our former players and alum of Georgetown to embrace new, to embrace inclusiveness, to embrace just a different vision and a different way to peel the onion. That's all it is. You know what I mean? And when we do that, great things are going to happen.
Yeah, you sound like, slow down, G. Man.
Yeah, Gene. Yeah, man. Come on, man.
I'm ready to D up, Coach. After that, I'm ready to D up.
Get in the stands.
So,
step slide, Coach.
You sound like, in talking about the 4,100 Club, when I was in school, we had two Hall of Famers, Alonzo and Kimbe, and I don't know how it happened, but the students formed what was called rejection row, and it was difficult to be in the captain, and people were engaged. That was kind of part of our tradition that Gene helped build on. The guys before him. Feel free, number 22.
Okay, thank you for thank you for the Gatorade. Appreciate you. So Coach, you just touched on legacy, history, pride, which is what this program has always been about. But also, it's not just about the past. It's only about the past as it helps the future. And right. I mean, you touched on some players, but Allen Iverson being a cultural icon, right? Coming from Georgetown. He mentioned Mutombo and Alonzo Mourning. And shout out to Dikembe. We're wishing you well as always. The past is there. The history's there. The culture's there. We're in rebuild mode. The DC community is ready, willing, and able to embrace you. You talked about the community that you came from. The community that you're in now, we are ready, willing, and able. You already touched on the culture. What do you see as the major challenges in terms of, because you've already been out there recruiting, you've been hustling, and that just makes us want to hustle more. What do you think is going to be the major challenges for you up and down the I-95, but DC specifically in particular?
Well, I think we have to, make sure we have a presence in the DMV, making sure that we're getting to know high school coaches, AAU coaches, showing up to their gyms, even when they don't have the players today. But having a relationship. I think relationships just run deep. Calling our former players, having a relationship with former players, and hey, do you have children, cousins, relatives that are in your area that we should be taking a look at? And again, we're not going to be able to take everybody. There's 13 scholarships, right? And per year, you may get at the most 3 or 4. Right now, we inherited 9 scholarships that we had to try to fill this year. But I think anytime you take over a program, right? Anytime you take over a program, you have to instill your own. The word culture is important to me. What is that? For me, it's gratitude. It's appreciation. It is family. It is toughness. It is inclusiveness. It's not forgetting who we are and where we're trying to go. I wouldn't use the word rebuild.
Okay.
I would use the word reestablish. I think when you reestablish something, you're respecting the past while moving forward. Because again, the identity of this organization has always been tough. It's always been at a championship elite level. We have fell on some hard times, and that's okay. Now, to reestablish ourselves, that journey is going to be that much sweeter. So asking for help when you need it. People always want to win tomorrow. It may happen, it may not happen, but over a course of time, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. I think the 5th program I've been part of, whether it be an assistant or the head coach, that we've inherited a team that's been in last place the year before. And I think history speaks for itself on what we were able to do. Now, we haven't won a national championship yet, but that's the goal every day I wake up. There's not a day that goes by where I don't think of having a parade down Constitution right now here in the district, or on Pennsylvania Ave, shaking the president's hand, having you have to have that positive energy, and you have to speak existence into what you want to become. I didn't come here saying, well, I hope we come in last place. Damn. So people say, be careful what you ask for. I'm asking to be a champion. I'm asking to engage with a community. I'm asking for help to make sure Cap One Arena is packed. I'm asking for us to give our staff and our current players and our new players a chance. And don't compare them to anybody. Compare them to who we're going to be. Compare us to us. Like I said, respect tradition, respect legacy. I'd love to get another rejection row, but we'll give it a different name. That's for those Hall of Fame guys. But you know what? I remember Kevin Braswell was a hell of a point guard. Sweetney, you couldn't guard him in the middle. Othello Harrington and Monroe. Jeff Green was tough. Who was my mother? Treadwick, whether he was physical as hell.
Jabril. Yeah.
Jabril. I can go. I played against Georgetown as a head coach twice when I was at Fairfield. I think the year we went to the Final Four, we had a really close game. Really close game. I'm like, what the hell are we doing in this game? But you know what? You got to play every game as it's your last, and that's hopefully the culture that we can instill in our men. But it always starts with gratitude and appreciation for our players.
Coach, yes. I got to stop Markham because he's trying to text me. He wants to jump in here. I got to stop him. You set the tone at your initial press conference, fam. When you brought up, I think it was Churchwell, Jerome Williams, Jeff. You set the tone as it relates to former players being active and being a part. You also said we're going to win and we're going to win a lot. So again, that positive energy, that positive attitude, that's going to be reinforced by the Cavalry. So again, I just want to speak to that. That meant that just spoke volumes. And then to echo that was the initial meeting we had at former players with you when you were running ragged. I think you had 3 bottles of water going during that Zoom we had. And Reggie Williams spoke up, and you and Reggie it was like you and Reggie had the call to yourself. Yeah. And it was just one of those things where, again, that meant a lot. That speaks volumes. Action moves people. Well, words are one thing, but action moves people. So again, that said everything. So the tone has been set.
Well, the thing on that is, and I know Markham really quick, anytime I see former players in the building, whatever, I may not recognize everyone that's ever played here, but when I saw them in the media room on that press conference, it's not my program. I just happen to be the captain of the ship right now. And I mean, it's our program. It's your program. And then somebody said, hey, did you? I said, I didn't know who was going to be there. My first time in the building. I said, anytime I see our former players, they need to know I appreciate them. I cheered for them, only except when we played. And I want them to be successful because we all want to be recognized as athletes for the time, energy, and effort that we put in. And our players will be recognized every time that they're around, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, so you talked about Big East Arena being sold out. I want to speak specifically in Providence because in 1987, we just talked about Reggie and the Miracles lost in the Elite Eight to Providence.
Yep.
And I think that was the beginning of kind of an elevation of the Providence-Georgetown rivalry. When I was in school, my freshman year, I remember going up to Providence, and we had Anthony Tucker, who had been a National Player of the Year, but he was riding the bench a little bit. Johnny Jones, who I always say is the best Hoya never to play. The guy was phenomenal. And Tom Lang, who was assistant to athletic director son Joe Lang, they're sitting on the bench, and I kid you not, the entire game, there was somebody behind our bench saying, Tucker, Long, Lang, and Jones, attorneys on the bench. The Providence fans are incredible. With you leaving Providence and coming to Georgetown, what do you think that's going to do for the rivalry going forward?
Hey, Coach, just before you answer that, the Providence-Georgetown rivalry has just superseded what was the Georgetown-Syracuse rivalry. That is the game. That is the ticket. Let's not kid ourselves, Coach.
I think it was Ernie Pop Lewis, God rest his soul, who made a corner jump shot. I remember I was in high school and I was watching the game. And how will that game be? Wow. So I would say this. That will probably be the hottest ticket in the history. I'm going to say the history of the Big East. Especially year one. But you know what? I'll embrace it. I'll understand it. I get it. I think it's good for the game. I think it's great for the league. I think it's great for television. I think it's great. It'll be a must-be-at event. It'll be more than a game. There'll be a story within the story within the story. but I don't want that, me coming back there in Georgetown. I want it still to be about the players. It's a player's game, and if the players weren't good at Providence, I wouldn't be your coach. Sure. If the player, it's a player's game, but that, I think it just went up 90 decibels. I'm probably need a SWAT team when I go in there, but you know what? I love the Providence College fan base. I do. It's something that we help create, help build. It's a really, really hard place to play in. Even before I was the head coach there, we competed in there when I was at Boston College and at Fairfield and at the University of Rhode Island. It's a really, really hard place to play. They do a great job in there. And all I want to do is try to win by one. That's all I want to try to do. Get in and get out.
Well, just for the record, and I'm the historian over here. I'm the fat guy. Even though you would think the former 3-time manager of the year would be the fat guy, I'm the fat guy. So the Providence-Georgetown rivalry is 47 games Georgetown, 34 games Providence. Average margin of victory is less than 2 points. So it's not like we haven't been getting after each other before this time. But to your point, it's on a whole nother level now.
It's another level.
And Coach, you can say it's not about you, but again, you're the captain of the ship. This thing is will be must-see TV. Must-see TV.
Yes. I would agree on that. Yes. I would. Hey, we probably should get some tickets early, though.
Oh no, they're gonna make sure you don't have any tickets, Coach.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people.
Well, you talked about it not being about you. You wanted to be about the players, but when the Big East was at its height, they had very charismatic coaches. They had Riley at Villanova, Jim Boeheim at Syracuse, Louis at St. John's, obviously Big John at Georgetown. It's always been kind of coaches, and I think college sports kind of lends itself to that, because even if a guy stays for 4 years, it's only 4 years. A coach could be there 40 years. But the players are, without a doubt, the most important part. If you could have Nolan Richardson, Larry Brown, who I think is one of the best basketball minds, and Greg Popovich coaching. If they're coaching guys like me, you, Gene, we're gonna be in trouble. Trouble.
Well, only thing I will say is we will take on the personality of the coach.
No doubt.
So again, to Coach's earlier point, you're gonna leave there thinking, I just played against some dogs.
So that would be true. But that said, Coach, in terms of the players, what are your thoughts about recruiting the DMV for Georgetown, and speak a little bit about how the transfer portal, which has changed dramatically since we were in school, and NIL changed again?
Right. Well, and I think that's a great question for everybody that's listening and going to listen to this. Now taking over an organization, it may not take as long. Given that you have immediate eligibility. The one-time transfer rule could help an organization. So if you're not as long in reestablishing yourself, NIL allows you to use your image and likeness to pay the players through a collective or from a company that feels that they can get a return on their investment with that particular name player in their community. And for us here in the DMV, we want to try to establish that the best local players, if they fit our culture, if they fit who we are as a style of play, as a student and as an athlete, we want that player here. And again, there's so many talented players in the DMV. You're not going to get everybody. You can't take everybody. And I don't want that to be held against us, because there's only X amount of scholarships. Get the ones that can impact your program. Appreciate the other ones that are going to go on. At the end of the day, I just need you to get a scholarship when you're from these areas. Get a scholarship that can change your life, because all of them are going to be like the three of us on this now. Hopefully we go on to have families, relationship partners, children, and you're going to need to turn your lights on without bouncing a ball. And hopefully you did the right things in your educational journey that has a degree attached to it. And I do know the Georgetown degree is as powerful and meaningful as any degree in the world, as my baby is about to get one in 2 weeks. I can't tell you how excited I am and proud of her for that. So for everybody in the DMV, if you fit, if you're tough, you can shoot, you can defend, you can open doors, you can smile. We need you. Come on through.
So, Coach, we're gonna wind this down. Even though Markham would like to keep you forever, I'm gonna wind this down because just based on the pace that you've set, and again, I'm just following you through social media. The pace that you've set has been unprecedented, and we can't thank you enough. But I just want to share a story that came to me through one of the workouts that were taking place at the gym. And some former players were there, and it just warmed my heart. So some former players were there, and the workout was going on, and boom, boom, boom. One of the former players jumped out on the court and, was celebrating or whatever. And you quickly said, with a smile, I'm going to need you to get the fuck off my court. And all I can say is, that's the dude I want to play for. That's the dude I want running the program today in 2023. And if I got a little excited, when I heard the story, I cracked up, but I was like, that's my guy.
It was, because we're in the middle of it. And I appreciated the energy toward it. Like, let's go. Yo, bro, you had your time. You had your time. This is our time right here. One of my coaches grabbed me on that. They're like, Coach, they don't know you yet, huh? I'm like,
no. We used to that.
Yo, bro, not now. I mean,
not now, bro.
There'll be a time and place for that, but not now. That's big time.
So I just wanted to leave you with that. And Markham, if you got anything else to add, man, I know this man is busy.
It's all good, man. I appreciate this so much. I do.
And I just want everybody to keep in mind, wifey is ex-police officer. So don't be running up on dude.
So I'm gonna close this out. This is usually I give, depending on the episode, I give a quote. Sometimes I give 2 quotes. I think this has been a 3-quote worthy episode.
Oh, okay.
This has been a 3. This is the first one. First 3 quotes. I just got a text from David Green, who was the manager. This is ridiculous. He was a manager for Gene's. By the way, Gene didn't play in a national championship game, just for the record.
You know what, though? But he was a ride or die guy. He got a ring, though. He got a ring.
He sprained his ankle on a breakaway layup with nobody guarding him. That's why he didn't play. David Green just sent me a note saying he's the only person in the history of Georgetown to have made championship game ready. We'll talk about that later.
For the record.
For the record.
Here, first quote is from a guy who, pound for pound, in my opinion, is the best at what he did in that athletic arena. And I'm looking on Allen Iverson. You have to go through good times and bad times to get where you're trying to go.
Amen.
Second quote from a guy I've been reading since high school, Ralph Waldo Emerson. The only person you are destined to be is the person you decide. Third quote from the great Chinese sage Lao Tzu. A journey of 1,000 miles must begin with a single step. I think I speak for the entire Georgetown community when I say we're glad to be on this journey. Thank you for coming to Hoya Locker Room. We look forward to having you back on. Get on the recruiting trail. We got to get some dudes.
You need some dudes. We're working on it. Our staff is doing a great job. I appreciate you guys for having me on. Look forward to being on here quite a few times more, and hopefully we can have some players join us in the near future.
And don't be jumping on Coach's court. Hey, Coach, we appreciate you, man. We really do. Oh, sidebar, Coach. We got a TBT team playing this summer with former players.
Oh, where?
I think it's a national tournament, But Chris Wright will be reaching out to you.
Please.
We had one last summer in the ABL. Was another tournament. We smacked Syracuse.
Okay.
So just FYI, but yeah, that's we definitely need your support on that, Coach.
We'll one more thing we forgot to do, Gene, birthdays.
Birthdays. Austin Freeman had a birthday. Damon Jackson just had a birthday. And Coach, one of the new guys, 2024, Ismail Masood. Am I saying that correctly?
Yep.
Happy birthday to the fam. Also, shout out to all our Hoyas that are still participating in the NBA. Jeff Green, Omer, Alonzo. If I'm leaving out anybody, I'm real bad at shout outs because I'm 60 now. But yeah, much love to all the Hoyas that are still getting it done. But yeah, Coach, man, we can't thank you enough for stopping through, man. Stopping through your locker room, fam.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot for having me on. You guys have been great.
Take care.